So I'm in Greece right now, Athens, Greece. This is the Parliament building right behind me, you can see here. And I want to talk about why this country is so much healthier than the United States and why nutrition over here is so much better than it is in the United States in general. And so let's talk about the characteristics of a healthy population as we try and break out of this matrix, because this is aimed at my American counterparts. That's where I'm from originally, obviously that's where I live. But also I want to help people over there that may not understand just how bad the health is in the United States. And so in Greece, you will notice people around me, the skin is a lot clearer. That's one of the best things that you'll notice about good health. That's one of the best indicators of good health in general, is clear skin. We have a lot of skin problems in the United States, associated with a lot of digestive problems as well, because the two are intricately intertwined, as I'll talk about in a lot of videos in the past, present, and future. Because what you eat is going to be expressed as how your skin looks in the end. So if we have a lot of blotchy skin, a lot of eczema, a lot of rosacea, as it's called, like red skin, a lot of acne, things like that in the United States, you don't see that over here in Europe for the most part. And it's because of the food and the diet. It's because of the high quality fats that are consumed in these European diets, especially this Greek diet, because as you can tell, the Greek Mediterranean diet is one of the healthiest for you out there. So I'm gonna be walking around as I do this video in this courtyard here, but the thing about, you'll notice when you come over to Europe and you eat here, if you ever get the chance, I recommend to travel out of the United States. I know it's expensive as hell right now, but it is worth it. The thing you will notice is that the portions here are a lot smaller when it comes to carbohydrates. So we went out to a restaurant last night. It was very good. Everything's very fresh. And one thing you'll notice is anytime there's any kind of refined carbohydrate. Now when I say that, I'm not necessarily talking about like sugar, but just fast absorbing carbohydrates. Things like rice, noodles, things like that. Those are very quickly broken down in your body and are generally used quickly for fuel in your body. And that's what the primary driver of obesity is in the United States, is the processed, refined, fast absorbing sugars that spike your insulin levels, lead to type 2 diabetes, lead to obesity and weight gain. It is not the fat content, it is the carbohydrate content, because over here, there's a lot of healthy fats consumed. Just like I was saying, it's good for your skin. It's also just good for energy in general. So we've been lied to a lot. This is what I call the health matrix. In the United States, we have been lied to about nutrition for so long that it just became normalized to us, because they demonize fat because it's got more calories in it than a gram of carbohydrates or protein, for instance. So if you don't know this, according to the scientific data, now this is all starting to come under review, which it should, because it's not ever this cut and dry. There's 4 calories per gram of carb, 4 calories per gram of protein. I've heard it's lower than that. It's actually a little bit more thermogenic, maybe 3.2 grams, but whatever. 4 calories per gram. And then there's 9 calories per gram of fat. And so the, Western, camera gets a little messed up there. The Western scientific way that we look at things is obviously because there's more calories per gram of fat, then that means it's bad. And so you should go on a low-fat diet, which is where a lot of our problems come to in the first place with the American diet. But the way it really works is you can utilize that and actually eat more fats and less carbohydrates to get more energy, because fat is a lot more of an economical fuel. Fat is like something that in ages past is a delicacy. For instance, if you're starving somewhere, let's say you were in a time and a place where you actually didn't have a lot of access to food and you wanted a lot of calories. So that's why if you killed an animal in the wild, for instance, you would go for the you would go for the fatty organs and the fat around the tissues, the bone marrow, things of that nature that have a lot of calories to them, because within those calories also has a lot of nutrition. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. What I really meant to talk about here was the reason it's amazing when you come over and you look at the difference, the stark difference. It's because Europeans in general are just a lot skinnier than they are in America, than people are in America. America is very fat, and it's kind of a laughing stock. But if you come over to Europe, you'll notice that a lot of people are actually very skinny, which can seem to the average person from the West, so to speak, the United States, that could seem like a problem, because it's like, oh, why don't these people eat more? Like, it's become a stigma that you should be fat, that if you're too skinny, that means that you're not eating enough, and blah, 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 blah. But what in reality, if you're in a civilization like we are today, where you have access to a lot of food and a lot of resources, then you do not need to be carrying around excessive body fat in case a famine happens to strike, because that's probably not going to happen. So, the things that they eat here for fat in general are going to be things like, well, obviously it's grease, right? We know about olives. I love olives, but olive oil is going to be all over the place. Lots of these foods are just drizzled in olive oil and balsamic vinegar and things like that. But also just very rich cheeses, and everything's very natural. Everything's very like locally sourced, oftentimes locally grown. Like the farms for a lot of these restaurants, or not the farms, but the gardens for these restaurants will be like right outside the restaurant itself. Like you can almost see where they're actually picking the produce from. And so what you end up with is this very high fat, very high calorie, but very high nutrition diet. And also, fat, as we know, does not have a big effect on the insulin system. It does not have a big effect on your blood sugar levels, which is one reason why it's so healthy for you. So what I'm trying to hammer home with this whole entire video, guys, is the reason that if you want to be more like a European in terms of your looks, if you want to have a lower body fat percentage, and also a lower, higher quality of skin and hair and digestive tract, then you want to eat more like Europeans do, which means the Mediterranean diet, which again is a lot of vegetables, a lot of meats, but very like locally grown meats, not a lot of like processed cows and things like that, but more like there's like a lot of goat. Last night we had a rooster, so it's like goat, rooster, lamb, things like that, but they do have beef and chicken as well. But then a lot of quality cheeses and quality oils, right? And then of course, there's a lot of just exotic vegetables and things like that here. They love their tomatoes. They love their cucumber salads and Mediterranean salads, onions, cabbage, things like that. But guys, I wanted to keep this video short because I am on a vacation, and so I do not have a whole lot of time to make videos while I'm out here, but I do want to keep it consistent. So I will keep you guys updated. We're going to be traveling out to a different island here in a couple of days. I'll make another video and we can talk about different aspects of this great country and what makes their nutrition and their health so much better than ours. Well, superior would be the word I would use, maybe not better, but superior in terms of health. But if you want to be healthier, utilize what they do here. Go for the high fat diet, go for the lower refined carbohydrates, and you will notice you'll have a lot more energy, you'll sleep better, you'll have better skin, and you'll have a lower body fat percentage. All right, guys, so that's all I got for this video. I will see you guys in the next one.